On May 28, 2014, I discovered a mockingbird nest in my yard. I started filming that evening in an attempt to document the entire nesting process. The first thing I did was hang my camera, but with the parent birds announcing their disapproval, I tried to get in and get out as quickly as possible, which sometimes leaves room for mistakes. It doesn't take long for the mother bird to return, apparently unaware of my camera. At this point she's incubating her eggs. This process takes around 13 days, but I have no way of knowing when she began. The second morning brings heavy rains, and the mother mockingbird does her best to shield the eggs from the weather. The dawn of day 3 brings good weather, and the female mockingbird can be found sitting patiently on her eggs. She rolls the eggs often to prevent letting the embryo stick to one side of the eggshell. Although the female mockingbird has tolerated my camera, the male has noticed it and does his best to remove it. When I fixed the camera the next morning, I discovered that 3 of the 4 eggs had hatched. This means the mockingbird began incubating approximately 9 days before I started filming. As soon as the nestling is out, the parent bird removes the eggshell to reduce the chance of attracting predators. After being out of the egg for only a half hour, the mockingbird returns with the nestling's first meal. Both parents will continue to feed the nestlings throughout the day until they're old enough to hunt on their own. Four days after hatching, the nestlings have more than doubled in size. The mother bird is spending less and less time at the nest, and both parent birds are constantly hunting. They feed the nestlings a wide variety of insects, including crickets, grasshoppers, grubs, caterpillars, spiders, and moths. By day 10, the nestlings are becoming very vocal, and their eyes are beginning to open. It's hot outside, and they're panting to stay cool. Three days later, the nestlings are almost completely feathered, and they are rapidly approaching the fledging date. It won't be long before they have to leave the nest. A parent bird arrives, feeds a nestling, and leaves the nest to repeat the process. Feeding the young birds is a never-ending cycle. It's day 14, and any chance that the nestlings would fledge today diminished with the rain. Despite the bad weather, the parent birds are still hunting, and it isn't long before one returns with an insect. It's early in the morning, and the nestlings are huddled together in the bottom of the nest. Today is going to be one of the most dangerous days of their lives, the day they leave the nest. They can't fly yet, and once they're on the ground, they're vulnerable to any predators that discover them. Most fledglings don't survive this stage of their lives. Minutes later, a parent bird arrives with breakfast, and it's time for them to get up. The young birds spent the morning stretching and preening their feathers. Once the brave one teetered on the edge of the nest. But he was content to return to safety, for now. I came out later and discovered one of the young birds perched on a limb nearby. The other three nestlings were getting restless. The parent birds refused to feed them in the nest, and their sibling outside was getting all the food. They had had enough. It was time to go. As soon as a young bird hops out of the nest, he's rewarded by his parents. This encourages the other birds to follow. With the first 3 birds gone, the 4th nestling reluctantly began to follow. But as he balanced on the edge of the nest, my camera battery died. By the time I noticed the dead battery, 3 of the fledglings were gone. I found the 4th one on the ground beneath the nest, and after a few moments, he left too. This was the last time I saw any of the young birds, and I have no idea whether they lived to adulthood or not. But for the 15 days that I filmed the nest, the parent birds had been successful.